Hello, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen. How are you feeling? We are over the moon, on top of the moon, around the moon in 80 days. Everything about the moon. So, I have an amazing two guests with us today, and our beautiful author is Buddy. We're going to have him on the spotlight. And then we've got beautiful Dana. She is standing in for Krista. And in the future, my beautiful Donna, maybe we can discuss your book and also have your in the spotlight. But I will let you introduce yourself now and you can tell us about your book. I just quickly want to continue with my introductions. And then we've got beautiful Howard here, my beautiful sunshine miracle man. I'm so happy to see him here. Oh, there you go. Where's the glasses, everyone? Where is
We're
the
shining. We are
shine?
shining.
You've
Woo-hoo.
got one ready. Woohoo! And then we've got beautiful Randy here. As Buddy called him Boom Boom. I love that. And I've seen why they call you Boom Boom. A boom. And then the people is lying down that you have knocked them out. So I'm so happy that you are here. And the same with you, my beautiful Randy. You are welcome anytime to come if you want to be part of the panel, because I actually have three spaces on this side in the artwork, and I've got three spaces on this side, and then the author in the middle. We can always make a plan. So, my beautiful Buddy, if I can ask you to introduce yourself, then we will go to Donna and Howard, and then Randy, and then you will be starting with your book. You can just, I have read number 4, and I don't know which one everybody have read, but you can just then start. But if we could do the introduction first, and then we can start with you, my beautiful Buddy.
Well, hello, everybody. And, Sinette, it is always an honor to be on your show because you make us feel so appreciated and loved. I am the author of the Slippery Slope series, among a lot of other things that I've written, over 200 articles worldwide, as well as I ghostwrite and do other things with other people's work. But my series, the Slippery Slope series, is all about behavior and human behavior. And I'm looking forward to the incredible questions I'm sure you guys are going to throw my way. And, let's get on with the panel.
Thank you. Dana?
Thank you, Sunit. I was just thinking before Buddy started to speak that it's amazing the energy you have, that you just keep this flowing right through the airwaves, all the way from South Africa. Like, how awesome is that? I am Donis Baracco Metter, and I did write a book. I do have a book and mine is about dating. And the interesting thing about this particular book is that it was born from my search when I was in my early 40s trying to figure out how to date. And I was doing everything wrong. And so I figured out after reading all the books out there that something was missing. And I wanted to learn to have fun while I dated. And this book actually is my journey of how I met my late husband, who passed away in 2016. But from that, it catapulted me forward in helping other single soul-searching women who are looking for love in all the wrong places. And it identified myself now as a dating coach. So it's a women's dating coach for women over 40. And it's been such a tremendous journey. Just super excited to be here.
So you are a dating diva and a relationship expert in the Diamond Beauties group. How amazing. Just wanted to let everybody know, Randy, I don't think you've joined the Tanzanite Euros, but both Buddy and Howard is part of the Tanzanite Euros. And we do get it going live on the Tanzanite Euros. And beautiful Donna is part of the Diamond Beauties Forever group. And yeah, we are here. So my beautiful Howard, my miracle man, can you introduce yourself? Oh wait, you in if you don't, we can't hear you. Just hold
Wait.
on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm here. This is Howard Brown, Mr. Shining Brightly. I have my book here, Shining Brightly, in front of me. I want to just tell you, Sunit, the energy is amazing. We have so much fun on this show. I love when we have new folks. So Donna, welcome. champs in the house, and I'm staring at those belts, man. Got to have Randy Blake. Oh my God, Boom Boom Blake's here, so this is amazing. And to hear in the spotlight today from Buddy Thornton, my dear mentor, my friend, and I'm just so amazed because we could talk for days about his book, but we'll try to also do it in a very short amount of time. But I help people. I'm a survivorship coach. I'm a Silicon Valley tech entrepreneur, and unfortunately, I've had two major incidents of cancer, stage 4 cancer in my life. But I have got back up again to shine brightly, to lift up myself, lift up others, and make this world a whole lot better.
Wow, Howard, I love you, and I will bring you a present from South Africa. I'm gonna bring you a present from South Africa. Ooh.
Okay, I'll be waiting.
Oh, I cannot wait to give you a hug and Dan a hug and Buddy a big hug. And then Randy, I don't know if I will be seeing you, but if you say yes, I will make a plan to bring you something out of Africa as well. So please, my beautiful Randy, can you introduce yourself?
I can do that. But before I do, if food is involved, I most likely will say yes.
No food, no food.
Just,
I'm not
I'm
allowed to
just,
bring any food.
I'm just throwing that out there. But no, it's always a pleasure and an honor to be on your show. I feel like it's my first time always. This is my second time, third time. But yeah, it's just the pleasure to be around positive people. And I love your show. My name is Randy Blake, 5-time world champion. I'm a life coach, and I help build champions. I'm also an advocate of the suicide and mental health realm. And my friend and mentor and big brother, Buddy Thornton, we're going to, kick suicide in the face together. And it's just a privilege and honor to be on a panel with Buddy. I've read his books. I've got books 3 and 4, and it's just an open book manual. So I'm looking forward to being on this and the guy that gets to answer or ask him the questions. And hopefully he could give us some good answers. So back to you, Sinette.
Wow. So, my beautiful Buddy and my beautiful Randy, first of all, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you are doing, because there's a lot of suicide is one of the biggest epidemic going around. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for service to so many. And maybe there is somebody that needs just to hear you. So thank you for putting your heart and your love out there. I really love the two of you doing that. So my beautiful Buddy, you are welcome to read us all the back of the book, or if anything, just something before we start with the questions.
Okay, well, I'm going to share the back of my book 3. Now, my book 3, as opposed to book 4, just so you know, book 3 was written to young teens and young adults. And so it was written in the spirit of a conversation between myself and the kids. And book 4 is a book for the parents, teens, and teachers and caregivers. And it's really a primer on how to co-create a world, because a parent's only job is to make sure that they deliver fully functional adults to society. Anything that they do that doesn't point in that direction, they're doing wrong. And that's how I look at it. So the back of my book says, exploring the optimal journey to oneself allowed me to take an eye-opening journey of self-discovery back to a time in my junior year in high school when I met a teacher that taught me how to, quote, be, unquote. That's an excerpt from the foreword from my very good friend, Stephen Sauros, who's a education commissioner. He's in the state of Nevada, but he works for the U.S. Department of Education in D.C. from home. Another was liberating your child's nature is the most important thing. When you stress about making good choices, leading to proper thoughts and actions determines their destiny. The Optimal Journey to Oneself is a powerful book series. That's from Yang Li, the mother of a 6-year-old from Singapore. And, my books are global books. They're targeted at everybody. And, there's sections on family relationships and a concept created by the author, which is my own 4 pillars concept: voice, life, voice, passion, and choice. And we mentor students as they become fully functional adults. We help the parents. We help everyone bring a village raising a child, which is what a village is supposed to do. And with that being said, let's move on to some good questions.
Wow. So I've got Michelle Jones from the Diamond Beauty. She said, "Hello everyone watching with you. Mwah. Thank you, Michelle, for being here. Thank you." And I love Donna. From the first day I met you, you were giving me small kisses, and I love it. Oh, there you are. I love it. I love it. So, my beautiful Donna, are you ready? Oh, where's the glasses? I've got two now.
All right. Yeah, I know. I can't. Now I'm out of control now. Okay. Are you so do I get to talk to Buddy first?
So, if I wanted to find with you, do you want to go first, or can I go first and then you follow me, and then
Well,
Howard and then
no.
Randy? Will that be
The
okay?
leader always goes first. The leader goes first. Go ahead, leader. Boss baby.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I just quickly want to say, I love the quotes in the book number 4. For me, when I read this one, I had a little bit of tears, but it was not running out of my eyes. It was just out of appreciation. The quote is, it's an absolute human certainty that no one can know his own beauty or perceive a sense of his own worth until he has been reflected back to him in the mirror of another loving, caring human being. And I remember so clearly my husband told me 3 years ago, stop calling everybody beautiful. And I said, no, my husband, I'm not. I found my own beauty, and I want to make sure people knows I can see their beauty. I can see it so they can also experience it. So now I'm giving this to my husband when I see him and tell him, this is a quote at Buddy's book. I'm going to still keep on telling everybody they are beautiful. So my question to you, my beautiful Buddy, I love your 4 pillars that you have in book number 4: life, passion, voice, and choice. Can you just tell us why is that your 4 pillars?
Yes. And I appreciate the question. It's a question I do get a lot, but for the most important thing about being a human being is that if you don't understand yourself, if you can't look in the mirror and understand yourself fully, uh, you really can't reach out. You can't really exist, and you really can't project yourself to others. So what I do is I tell everybody, look, let's do a deep dive into who you are. Now, does that mean we got to kind of look at the ugly babies too? We got to look at everything good, bad, and different. And we need to make sure that we have a very good understanding of who we are, what we are, and how we can do things. Because then, how do you know what you can do for yourself, and how do you know when you need help? And then the second pillar, the voice, is how do you express yourself? How do you show your competencies? But then also, how do you ask for help? How can you really enunciate? And it isn't always through your verbal voice, it's your written voice, it's how you project, it's how you dress, it's how you act among other people. These are all your active voice in society. And your passion, the reason I use passion is because a lot of people can confuse interests and things that they like to do with passions. Your passion is something that you would cling to with your hands, your feet, and your teeth if you were sinking on the Titanic. That would be the one thing you will never let go of. Anything else that doesn't have that level of passion is not a passion. And Randy's a father. He understands when you have a child, they automatically become a passion that you will never let go of. Never. And it doesn't matter how old they are. My children are all in their 40s, older than Randy. And if someone threatens them, I feel completely threatened myself. And the choice dynamics is really something that people have absolutely no starting point for. They don't understand how to create a choice matrix. They don't understand how to get feedback cycles. They don't understand how to engage properly. So that's why that's the 4 pillars.
I loved it.
Wow.
Thank you for your answer, my beautiful Buddy. All over to you, Dana.
Thank you. It's interesting. Listening to you talk today, Buddy, and listening to this little bit so far has touched my heart in such a way because I get my children when they're 30. I'm remarried, and I have 3 bonus kids and 5 bonus grandchildren. And super exciting. And I didn't know what kind of my husband kept saying to me, "You're going to change my kids' lives." And Sunday we went out to celebrate my birthday, and my stepdaughters, my bonus kids, took me by the hand and said, "Our lives are better because you're in it." And I think, based on what you just said, that they're truly my kids. Like, they're truly my kids. So I didn't get that opportunity with my late husband's kids, but these ones, boy, what a difference. And so it matters. And and so I'm doing what you said, that is a parent's responsibility. If you're not helping them become better human beings, then you're failing, I guess you said, right? Or you're not doing it right. And so I was like, wow, like, holy mackerel, I guess I really am, I am their parent, right? One of their parents. So, wow. And there's one point in your book that you share how you have 4 different children. And I'm experiencing that now as well, right? All my kids we're all different. I mean, even my brothers and siblings. But how you've had an experience, how have you balanced each of your children's strengths? Like, what made was there a clicker in your head that said, oh, this child needs this to become a better person, or to help them grow better into themselves? And so was there an aha moment when you sort of came to that, Buddy?
Actually, the biggest aha moment for me was when my older son, who is our third child, he was obviously different than the first two. Our first two were girls, and one was extremely outgoing. The other one was a chaser. She was a follower. And then when my son came along, he just was completely, totally out of the box. As a kindergartner, he would get up and walk on people's desks, and he would tear up their papers, and he would just walk out of the room and out onto the playground and then just sit and watch the traffic go by. He didn't have a filter. And so when we had him checked, they said, well, he was developmentally delayed. It doesn't mean he wasn't going to become an adult, and he's now in his mid-40s, and he's a fully functional adult, but he's also a 12-year-old. And so what that taught me, and then, of course, our fourth child came along, and so we have 4, and I call them my 4 compass points, northeast, south, and west, because you could literally put them on the compass points, and people would say, there, no way they're siblings. No, there's no way they came from the same household. And so I learned about one thing very powerful, and that is that when you're dealing with anybody, you have to deal with them first in a dyad. It's a power of 2, and everything else is immaterial outside the room, except for the third party, the invisible party in the room, and that is the relationship. If you honor the relationship between you and the other part of the dyad, and you make the relationship the most important thing, you're going to look for ways to honor that person. I help my oldest son completely differently than I help my oldest daughter, who frankly is an alpha and doesn't need any help at all. We have to realize that you cannot collectively say our children unless you're using it as, these are my children. But each child is unique. Every human is unique. And so if you deal with people from a dyadic relationship responsibility, and then you honor the third party, the invisible relationship in the room, and make it the most important part, that's the secret. And by the way, the additional secret to that is I've been married 50 years, and that's the reason why it's been a very powerful 50-year marriage, because we have always honored the relationship in the room. That's more important than either one of us.
50 years, baby.
Thank
Gotta
you.
celebrate that.
Thank you for that. And I agree with you. Nothing comes between myself and my husband. And it was that way in my household too, Buddy. No, we knew never to get between my parents. Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful. My beautiful Howard.
So I'm doing 2 work today because our co-author, who's in absentia today, Laura Brennan Ballett, is not here. So I have a double set. I actually have 10 questions, and we're not going to get to them all. So the first one is mine, Professor Buddy, because I have to tell you, I read book 1 and I speed read book 2 because I didn't realize that I was covering book 2. But oh my God. You could reread these books over and over again because there's so much teaching in them and there's so much depth. But one of the things that people do, and I do this, and I think Sanit, she does this, we have morning ritual and we look in the mirror, and most people don't like what they see. And one of the things, Buddy, that I found is, and I want to ask, this is just a core question. Why are morals and ethics so important to you and to a civil society? It's just a small softball question.
Okay. First of all, it's very important to understand that in the modern world, a lot of people, and I would characterize, when I say a lot, I would say 80% of the people do not differentiate between ethics and morals. They cannot understand that ethics is how we behave with other people and to other people. Morals are important, even if we were a hermit alone on a mountainside. Our morals are internal, they are subjective. Every person has a different moral worldview because they have to. And ethics and morals go hand in hand. They're cousins, they're not brother and sister. But your moral worldview dictates how you evolve ethically in society. And when you look around at society today, would you say that we have a broken society? I would say we have a broken society. And I would say the reason we have a broken society is that because people have hyper extended self-interest. And if you read both of my books, books 1 and 2, you'll find out that self-interest is actually the core pillar of both ethics and morals. You cannot functionally have effective self-interest without having a positive moral worldview, because you treat other people based on the golden rule. And when I tell people that, they look at me and go, the golden rule is totally irrelevant. And I said, no, the golden rule is the core of every choice you make from the day you evolve to the day you die. If you don't believe that, try to eliminate it and make choices without it, and you'll find out you can't make those choices. You're like, I don't have any compass. I don't have any way to go. So are morals and ethics necessary? Yes. And yet 80% of the people can't even differentiate between ethics and morals, the two core principles.
Thank you. Very important baseline for everyone.
Thank you, my beautiful Howard. And you can ask Lauren's question.
Clapping. Okay, so Lauren took it in a different tact as well. And she said that for parents that have never really done the inside work and elevating themselves past challenges, how do we support them becoming actual role models for our children through your books?
First of all, there's no such thing as a negative parenting timeline. Donna got children who are her bonus children in their 30s. She gets to start the parenting journey, and they're completely fully grown. They may have some pretty bad habits, good habits. They may be great. They may be a little bit less than great. You know what? It's not a judgment call. It's that we take them where they enter the picture and we move from there. So if I get a parent and they have a 10-year-old and they're struggling and they've had no experience with working with and understanding the baseline core of what it is to be a parent, I have to treat them as if they are the same as someone who has really done the homework from birth. It doesn't matter. There's no blaming, shaming, or judging. That's probably the number one thing people don't understand. There's no such thing as a failure unless you just choose never to become an effective parent. If you start and your kids are in their mid-teens and you literally get on the path of the 4 pillars and you literally work with them, you'll find out that they evolve in a totally different direction. And I think Randy is a good example of that. When we've talked, he's got a 13-year-old in his house, and being exposed to the book completely changed her trajectory. I didn't get her when she was younger than that. I didn't get Randy when he was younger than that. Did it matter? No. I take the successes one day at a time. Parents need to take that as a core lesson. It doesn't matter. The past is in the past. Move forward. Move forward and make positive choices now, because that's the best role modeling you can ever do.
I love it.
Amazing.
Dana, I love all your hearts and hand claps. It's beautiful. Thank you, my beautiful Howard, for asking your question and also Laura's question. That was a beautiful answer. Thank you, buddy. Randy, boom, boom, your turn.
My turn. Yeah, so like Buddy said, these books, well, this is number 4, but I've got number 3 too. But they've been a life changer for me. It's an open book manual for me. So I've read these books probably a dozen times a piece. but there's always a point in time where something does pop up and I'm like, let me go back and check that one chapter and see if I can try this on the 13-year-old, or how does this relate to the 3-year-old. So I have a lot of questions, and I know we're pressed for time, but just kind of off the cuff, Buddy, I know you've lived this, and you've done all these principles, and you live off ethics and morals, but has there ever been one point in time in your life where it just didn't work? And if so, could you explain that experience to us?
I will explain that experience to you. And number one, it takes a lot of core power and strength inside what I like to call an overwhelming locus of control to share the bad with the good. One of my children ended up being incarcerated because of a drug problem. And when the judge asked, because my wife and I were judged mercilessly by people, oh, you guys must have been horrible parents. And my daughter stood up in court and looked the judge right in the eye and said, my parents were the best parents I could ever have. They were the perfect parents. I'm the one who made the bad choices. That self-validates my message. I cannot control anything that another human being does, ever.
Amen.
Choice theory says I control what I do. I control my role modeling. I control how I teach things. I cannot dictate nor expect to dictate the outcome of someone else's choices. And so when they make a bad choice, what is the core choice that you need to make? Find a way through it. My wife and I never missed a chance to visit our child in prison. We never missed a chance to go on food share days. When she came out, we were there. And now she's a fully functioning member of society. What is the message there? Regardless of the fact that it took over 25 years to go from a spiral down to prison time to a spiral up, I never changed the way I behaved. No. And the end result is positive for society. There are no such thing as we can't overcome a failure. We can always overcome a failure unless we just flat give up.
Beautiful.
Wow. I love it.
Love it.
Thank you, my beautiful Randy. So my question, well, first of all, the quote I love, it was jumping out of me, and I said to him, hey, Tu, you just give me a fright. I talk in my home language in Afrikaans, and this is this beautiful quote, my beautiful buddy. Being intentional is the first step to motivation, and it's Johanna, and maybe I will not pronounce his surname right, but I will try, Coca-Cola. And I thought, wow, I love it, because in all the things I am doing intentionally with love. So I loved it. So my question to you is, with every generation, there is, you said in every generation faces the same inescapable realities. And if you think about when you were a youth, and maybe a few decades later, can you tell us more or less what is that realities that's still the same as when you were a young person?
Well, the first reality is that, we are looking at a very, very shrunken time stamp. When we look at our lives, we are like 4 seconds on the cosmic clock. And humans have been around for a very, very long time. And with all those thousands of generations to look back on, has there been any changes? One of my favorite things to do is to go into a group meeting, and I open up a couple of quotes on a paper, and I say, could you tell me who wrote those quotes? And people are going, oh, that was Einstein, or that was it. And then I say, nope, that was Aristotle, 2,300 years ago. Yeah. And then I'll open up a few more quotes, and I'll say, hey, how about these quotes? And they're very apropos quotes about teenagers and young adults and how crazy they act and the things that they do. And they'll go, oh, that was Anne Lind, or, all this. And then I'll go, nope, that was Aristotle. And what's funny is nothing ever changes. We're born into the world. We're not perfect. We do come with a little bit of pre-programming, because that's necessary to get along, right? However, at age 7, we get inductive reasoning. At age 9, we get deductive reasoning. Around age 12, we get abstract thinking. That's a template that doesn't matter what culture you come from. That is going to happen whether you want it to or not. You can't prevent it. That is a template that fits every society. So if I walk into Randy's house or I walk into Howard's house or anybody's house and they've got a 15-year-old, I can pretty much tell you where the 15-year-old is going to be within a certain time frame in development. Does that tell me how they behave? No, it doesn't tell me how they behave. I'm not in their environment. I was a teenager. I can count on one hand how many adults can tell me, "Oh yeah, I remember my teenage years and they were fantastic." It was a mixed bag. There was great, there was not so great, there was horrible, there was being punished, there was making stupid mistakes, there was the hey, watch this moments. These are inevitable. No matter what society you go to, I can go to Vietnam right now today. I can walk into a house, and if I got an interpreter, I can talk to them about their teen because they are going to go through the exact same things we are. Yep. And the failing of people in society is they don't recognize that there is that commonality. Every human being goes through that same developmental cycle. So why can't we understand that we are more the same than different? And to me, that's what that entire quote is about. You have to intentionally think you're the same, not different.
Yes.
I love it. Thank you, my beautiful buddy. My beautiful Donna, you are welcome to ask your second question.
Oh, I have a second. Well, I'd like to ask Buddy about ghostwriting. I like to switch it a little bit because here was my when I heard you were a ghostwriter, I was almost like afraid. Like because I was like, number one, I never met a ghostwriter before because you're supposed to be a ghost. And number two, right? And if I'm gonna hire a ghostwriter, don't they have to look like me, think like me, be like don't they have so how do you get in people's heads and do that, Buddy? Can you tell? I don't know. Can you explain a little synopsis of what that's about?
I can without self-aggrandizing. I hate doing that, but I will share since you asked. The most important thing about ghostwriting is to spend about anywhere from 30 minutes to 3-4 hours in several Zoom calls with someone who wants to tell a story. You need to get what their kind of the framework of what they want to write as their story. You want to get to know them a little bit, but you're not getting to know them for anything other than you want to learn one of my 4 pillars. You want to hear and absorb their voice. When you hear and absorb their voice, and then you work very, very hard to come across with their voice.
Yeah.
And anything that you write, if it has anything that's outside the scope of what you were able to discern in their voice, maybe they're a very mild-mannered person. Maybe they're a very empowering person. Maybe there's someone like Boom Boom who's got a message that, his message is, I'm the world's greatest dad, and if you don't like it, I'll knock you down and prove it. You have to be able to literally be a behaviorist like I am. That's what my doctorate is in, to understand how to look into people and understand what's in their mind, their heart, and their soul, and then translate it out into their story. And wow. a good ghostwriter does that and does it and honors the author. I've read some other things that other people have ghostwritten, and I have my own opinion about them. None good, bad, or indifferent. Just I believe that if you're not honoring the author's story, if you're interjecting any of yourself at all into the story, you failed as a ghostwriter. So you must honor the author and you must honor the story.
That is awesome. And thank you for that. I recently was on a call with Hay House because we're discussing about that. And they said, people, because I was in a group setting, if you're not good at telling your story, there is no shame in hiring a ghostwriter. And you will, and I was like, wow, because, you sort of feel like, well, I don't know how to write or something. So I was intrigued. And by the way, Buddy, through all the networking I do, when your name comes up, you get 100% gold stars across the board, every which way. You are highly respected in your field, and I'm honored to know you.
I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for that question. So Michelle said, thank you for that asking this question, Dana. I am so curious. And then she said, when you said you have to write in the voice of the person, she said agreed. So buddy, Michelle also give you a message to say agreed. You write the story with your client's voice. I loved it. Thank you for asking that beautiful question, Dana. My beautiful Howard. All over to you. Oh, you mute again. Just give me 1 second.
Got it. I got it.
Now,
I'm back. I'm back.
yes, yes.
I've been, yes. All right. So Donna, I want to just let you know that so Sunit and I am the beneficiary of amazing editorial. I didn't really write my book. I interviewed 158 Zoom sessions with the most influential, important people in my life over 3 years. The editorial was the most important. It has to be readable, and so,
Yeah.
but it has to be in my voice. And so, and from me. So I have to tell you, no shame in that, because you get to become a best-selling author when
Right.
you do.
Yeah. Yes.
And the story has to be authentic. The story has to be intentional, and the story has to be teaching, and it has to be inspirational. And if you have those components, you got a good story there. And we did Sunit's book last week, and it has all those points and more. So, Buddy, I have 2 questions for you. I stopped in the middle of my reading early in book 2, okay? Because you had me at hello there. The world is about relationships, relationship with thyself and the relationship with others. And you take people eloquently through your levels of relationship. Would you highlight that for us now?
Well, there are a lot of different types of relationships that people have, but let's talk about the human anatomy. And I'm not going to go into the scientific side, but I am going to share. We chase relationships. Teenagers, especially between the ages of 12 and 15, 16, they only care about 3 things. They want to know who they are, they want to know where they fit in the world, and they want to know how quickly and easily they can develop relationships, because they have this innate drive to create this circle of people. But unfortunately, we do have a human biology to fight against. And we only have the ability to have 5 to 7 to 8 really, really embedded besties. I mean, we're just not going to have more than that. And the reason is because it's very difficult to take what's in your heart and soul and put it out and just give it to somebody else and trust them. So it's very difficult to get beyond that. 5, 6, 7 people at the most. Beyond that, we have the ability to have about 25 to 30 close relationships, not necessarily besties, but people we trust and we honor and we're willing to sacrifice things for. And then the next layer is we have up to about 150 people that we can actually keep straight in our head without any kind of devices at all. Yeah, imagine that. All you kids listening to this, no devices, and you can remember 150 people. I know people who can't remember 4 people's phone numbers. But if you literally have around 150 people that you can keep straight in your head, you know who your grocer is, you know who your butcher is, you know who your hair cutter is, you know all these people, and you don't even think twice about it. But when you get beyond 150, your brain is not wired for that, because we are automatically wired for in-group, out-group thinking, and in-group means safe, and out-group means question mark. And so when it comes to relationships, what are you going to honor the most? I always say we tend to look past our besties because we do everything with them innately. We look at the second layer up to about 30 people in our life, and those are the people that we spend most of our time with and most of our living moments thinking about, and how do we work with them and how do we get them to work with us. These are relationships we cannot do without. And then, of course, I leave out in the book, although I mentioned it, I do leave out the very close relationships, what I like to call the mated pair relationships, the dyads, because we don't want to get into that plane on the ethical and moral conversation, because those are private conversations. But that, to me, that explains how humans approach relationships. But relationships have to be the core of everything we do. You would not go in and let someone cut your hair unless you trusted them. You would not go to your butcher if you thought he was going to cheat you on the meat. You just wouldn't. So everything we do is core around relationships. Does that answer the question, Howard?
Yeah, I agree so much, because you have to have a relationship with yourself. And I know you go into self-esteem and the lenses and things like that, but relationships are how we function in this world. And in the pandemic, loneliness, because we were taken away. That was taken for granted. Loneliness was that, and the after effects of loneliness. We actually are a human race that needs to run in packs. So I just, it stopped me right there. It made me think, and I just love the way that you actually be able to take people through the different levels for that. So thank you for that. Can I put on my Lauren hat now?
You
Yes.
can,
I'm
but
gonna
just
my
let
Lauren
me
hat.
give you some comments. So I've got
Oh, we got comments.
Aloha, everyone. And then I've got somebody says, wow, that is incredible editorial. Congratulations. So, my beautiful Howard, you can, and I just want to say, my beautiful ladies, I think it's a lady from the Diamond Beauties because we are a private group. Just you can put your name in front or at the back. But sometimes, like Michelle, your name can be seen, but at this case, we could not see your name. So, my beautiful Howard, you can put on Laura's hat.
I don't have a hat on, but I will. So, so
Yeah,
she
you
asked a
are.
really. Oh, you got the hat. So this is a really interesting question that she offered. So it says, can you offer? I don't even know if there's an answer. One applicable skill that a parent can begin to practice to empower their children. Where does someone start, buddy?
I
Wow.
always say that the parent needs to practice active listening first. And the reason is because the goal is to stay in your child's quality world. Now, the quality world is defined as the space where you let people in voluntarily. It's where you want to function, and you only want the people in there that you believe are in that 30 or less core group of relationships. And anyone who doesn't fit there, you don't want them in there. And a parent, the worst thing that can happen to a parent is they get pushed out of their child's quality world. So you have to learn active listening first because active listening is foundational to co creation. If you're going to teach a child to be a fully functional adult, you cannot make decisions for them. You have to let them make decisions, right, wrong, indifferent. And you need to be able to listen to what they're talking about, hear their voice, feel their passion, understand what they're trying to do, and then help them make the decision, not make it for them. So, active listening, if you don't have that, I don't think you can function within the four pillars. I think that's how powerful of a foundation active listening is. And then the secondary part of that is if you're going to co-create with your child, then actively co-create with them. Don't just give it lip service. Don't just say yeah, 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 and then turn down the control monster later on because then you completely invalidate yourself, and I guarantee that is the shortest trip out of their quality world.
Wow. Wow.
Hmm.
Wow,
I
thank you,
love it.
Professor Buddy. You're a teacher. It's very important. Active
Yeah.
listening. Start there. Thank you for
Wow.
that. You're shining.
Okay, can anyone put their glasses or their sage on? I'm going to quickly take a photo. How beautiful.
These glasses don't fit my face. I mean,
I
But
Oh,
see,
you're looking good, champ. They look
they're
good,
good
champ.
for a 3-year-old, right?
but
They look good for you, champ.
beautiful. My beautiful
I mean,
Randy, are
it's
you
just,
gonna,
it's. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, you're gonna have the honor to have the last question for Buddy. So
Okay, I can
you
do
are
that.
welcome to go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, I just have to say it's always a privilege to listen to Buddy talk. If I could
Oh
just
yeah.
hook a USB cord up to his brain and just download the information into mine,
mm,
man, it'd be limitless, right? But yeah, it's just he's filled with so much knowledge, and it's just a pleasure and honor, and I'm excited for what's to come for what we're going to be doing in the future. But just to kind of piggyback off of what Howard said, what are the most pressing ethical challenges you foresee in society, and how can we prepare to address them effectively?
The most the most difficult thing that anything is going to do it with society in today is to recognize where we are right now. If you were to ask people on different sides of the political aisle, for example, they would give you two absolutely different answers. But let's define society with both groups in mind and the overall picture from the 30,000-foot view. Communication has been completely disrupted because people anchor in their, what we like to call their cognitive bias. They want to hear a message. So anything that doesn't fit that, they filter out. And until we can teach people that filtering out a message you don't agree with or just don't like is detrimental to progress for the overall society, we're not going to make a lot of progress. We have to teach our kids that not only is it okay to have an opposing viewpoint, but it's very critical that you express that opposing viewpoint and get it out on the table. I like to call it the pedestal effect. You know, when someone earns the right to be on the pedestal, celebrate them and celebrate them rightfully so. When it's your time to be on the pedestal, you should get celebrated in turn. So take that and take it away from the pedestal effect and say, when it's your turn to express your opinion, it is an opinion. It's not fact. It doesn't have to be fact. It may be fact, but whose fact is it? Whose truth is it? Is it your truth? I'm sure Donna and I have a different way to look at the world. And so my truth may not necessarily be her truth. I get to honor my truth, but I have to defend her right to honor and defend her truth. And we don't have that in society. If you look at society today, anybody who doesn't speak like you, talk like you, walk like you, looks like a duck like you get so angry and you push them away. That's going to be the downfall of modern society. We have to understand that everyone deserves a seat at the table. And you don't have to agree with it, whatever he says, but you do have to acknowledge their right to say it and believe it and think it. As long as they don't do you any harm, no foul. In my book, I think Howard would say this, it's
Randy?
no judging, no blaming, no shaming, universal positive regard. If you can't give everybody the same rights that you claim for yourself, then you're in the wrong, even if you're in the right.
That is why you are a champion, aka Grandmaster, aka Mr. Miyagi. Thank you, sir.
Oh, wow. Wash on,
Beautiful.
wash up. Wow. Wow, amazing. So before I ask you, how are you feeling? I remember last week I was on top of the world because I felt so amazing after my spotlight. Before we're going to ask you, my beautiful buddy, Dana, can you tell us how do you feel that the session was for you today?
Well, super enlightening. I didn't quite know what I was walking into, and I had some tips about Buddy's book. I didn't get enough time to do anything else about that. And I was pleasantly surprised at what I was able to receive on my own level of understanding, Buddy. And I agree with you 100%. We all have a right to have an opinion. I didn't know that I would learn so much today. So thank you for having me.
That's amazing. My beautiful Howard, how are you feeling?
So I have to tell you that just I want to spend more and more time like you, Sinette. There's just no amount of time that I can't spend with you and not feel jazzed and beautiful and walking on sunshine. Buddy's a different, creature. So there's a time where he gives you a big bear hug and we talk about bowling, right? His pro bowling tour. We talk about my basketball. And there's a time where we get down to business like today. And he is such a professor and a humble teacher. He breaks down the complex into the understandable, into smaller bites. And I just value my time with him, and I just don't get enough. But we are close friends. We are working on some things together, and I enjoy it so much, buddy. I haven't read books 3 and 4. I have more work to do, but I just am so grateful for our friendship and that we got introduced all together from the Art of Connection and that beautiful community through Robert Jones and Natalie McQueen, and all of us got brought together. And so I'm grateful. I'm just feeling grateful.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Thank you, Howard. And my beautiful Randy, how are you feeling?
I feel amazing. Every day I wake up, I feel amazing. I'm blessed to be alive, and I'm blessed to be able to take a fresh breath of air. But most importantly, I'm blessed and honored to have a guy like Buddy in my life. And so I meant what I said when I said he's a champion. He's a grand master. And for people who don't understand what a grand master means in martial arts, it's not always about punching and kicking. That's just the fun stuff. Do you have the ability to go back and bring everyone else up to become either and Buddy is the true definition of that. So it's not about having a black belt. It's not about having 15,000 stripes on your belt. Do you have the ability to make other people around you greater than you? And so Buddy is always one phone call away, one text. I can always call this man for anything. Like when I say we're going to go and make the world a better place, that is what we're going to do. So it's just an honor, and I can talk about this man for hours, but not to kill the show too much. But Buddy, I appreciate you, and you're a grandmaster. Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Hey,
Thank you, my
hey,
baby.
Sanit,
Yes.
how do you feel?
I'm walking on sunshine, ho ho. I'm walking on sunshine, ho ho. And it's time to feel good. Buddy for you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. My buddy, how are you feeling, my beautiful one?
You know, Sinette, when people ask me that question, the first thing I can say is I always lead with one thing, and it's from my heart. I'm completely humbled by the people that I get to serve on a daily basis. I'm completely humbled by the people who edify me. I'm completely humbled by the people who come to me with tears in their eyes and ask for help. And I give it completely unabashedly. I think, as Randy would say, if you're not willing to walk the walk, don't talk the talk. I mean, that's just the way it works. You know, Sinette, you did something. You trusted me with your book earlier in the year, and I returned it back to you. And you told me that you just there you couldn't stop crying because it was the way you loved it. But let me ask you this question: did I change even one little iota of your voice in that book?
No, you didn't.
And you have to honor the other person on the other side of the equation. If you're saying you're a professional and you're saying you're a dating coach for women over 40, deliver. If you say that you understand the journey that people who are cancer survivors have gone through and you want to get them to listen to you, deliver. Randy, you're a 5-time world kickboxing champion, but more than that, you're a dad who takes the time to walk the walk with your kids on a daily basis. That's more honorable than anything else. Just do what you say you're going to do.
Pretty simple.
Because, you guys make me feel as if I have accomplished something simply by just doing what I believe I should be doing. And to me, that's the most edifying thing that I could ever take away from anything. And I am completely humbled by the experience.
Wow, amazing. So, first of all, I want to say thank you, my beautiful viewers, for being here, Michelle, and the feedback that we did receive. Thank you. I know there's going to be a lot of ladies and gentlemen on the replay. I just wanted to say thank you, my beautiful Dana, for being here, my beautiful Buddy. And it was a delight to have you as the spotlight author. And then a beautiful Howard, and then Randy, my beautiful Randy. Thank you for being here. So I would just love you to stay 1 second when we say goodbye. But I wanted to say, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen, I don't think we will be coming live next week because I will be in transit from South Africa 36 hours to Dallas, Texas. So we will not be able to, there's no way I can make somebody a host and give you authority on this. I need to get approval from the network because the wife is their network. So I think what we will do next week, I'm going to do 5 books that was discussed. I'm going to make a beautiful summary, and you will be able to click on the link and then go to Amazon and buy the beautiful author's book so that I can do that next week because I don't need to be in front of the camera. I can set it up long time before. So I think we will then do that, make sure that everybody can buy your books. and well, not mine yet. Mine will come out. I love it, Dana. I love it. But to ability to buy all the four authors' books, and then the week after that, we're gonna have another amazing session again. So, are you ready? Let me just take another photo to have a dance with me, my beautiful
Yes.
guest. And then my beautiful ladies on the Diamond Beauties and my beautiful heroes and the Tanzanite heroes. May I ask, will you have a dance with us? Just a short dance. Here we go.
Walking on sunshine or dancing in the rain.
The rain
Sprinkle me with fairy dust so I can fly away.
away.
Smiling at a moonbeam or squinting in the
Go, Randy.
sun.
Go, Randy.
Sprinkle me with fairy
Every
dust and cover me with from butterflies to eagles.
Bye-bye, everyone.